Hi guys and welcome along to this special Sonic Academy tutorial with me, Agnelli. Today we're going to take our first look at the brand new, only released a few hours ago, Logic Pro X. So guys, I have downloaded this. As you can see, there is additional content coming down of drum kits and whatnot. It's 30 odd gigs, so it's going to take a bit of a time, but let's motor on. Let's have a look. I haven't really looked at this. I've just read, as I was downloading the main program, I read a few snapshots on the internet, looked on people's Twitter feeds. Mixed bag. Of course, there's the haters out there who are going to say RIP Logic. I am a little nervous, I'm going to be honest. Apple royally screwed up the Final Cut 10 release, and I do feel that there is a certain dumbing down of their products. And especially a product like Logic, it is very complicated, it is very detailed. You could use as much or as little of Logic as you wanted. I kind of enjoyed using it, but probably less so over the years. It got a little more unstable. Let's see if this gets any more unstable, because Final Cut 10 certainly isn't stable. It crashes a lot and quits a lot, but it saves its last state before it quits, and when you relaunch the program, you're back up. So it's not a bit of it's an inconvenience rather than you don't lose 4 hours of work. Logic Pro 10 does the same. It has an auto save function. First thing I looked at was here. We have save as. It's still there. It's back. Apple have listed and put it in. When you're doing dance music productions, you know, I would go off down a different angle. If I'm not feeling the track, I'll do a save as, so I can always revert back to that original and then really change a lot of stuff. I hate duplicate and not having save as. I think it's the most ridiculous thing. So let's open up Logic Pro 10 and let's go to New and Software Instrument. So this kind of looks familiar. It was a different style box, but it's, you know, the same buttons, audio, drummer, and we'll open library. So this is the new drum machine, type drummer, and it has already input some loops, and I was kind of hovering my mouse around here going, right, where's play? The first thing I've noticed, the transport has been moved to the top. Is this good or bad? I don't know. For 20 years, every DAW that I've used since 91, I got my first one, Pro 24. The transport has been here, and Apple have decided to move it up. What does it look like? It kind of says GarageBand to me. I'm not going to lie, and I don't like it. It looks a bit a cross between GarageBand and Final Cut Pro 10. We'll live with it. We'll not criticize it just yet, and see where we are. So let's have a listen to this drummer. Well, that's very clever and very interesting. So let's cycle around here, and we have this function. The drummers, for better or for worse, are named. Kyle is a rock drummer. I think, I don't know, Matt is the punk drummer. You know, it's a little bit kiddie, but, you know, it's fine. But this is clever. This will change our pattern according to this vector. So we can make it very simple. So you can hear the rhythms got very simple. Let's make it loud. Soft. And complex and loud. mean, that's very clever. You know? So I wonder, can we automate this? Let's find our automation functions. This looks like automation. And what do we want to automate? Smart controls. No. So let's put it into right. So let's play that. No. So you must have to chop it into regions. So I take it if we go along to scissors and we chop. So if we set that to soft and complex, and then this one to loud and simple, yeah. Yeah, so we can't automate it, but we can chop it up and change the settings. Very, very interesting. Let's quickly go along the buttons along the top here and see where we are. And let's try and explain. This inspector, we had the inspector in Logic 9. This kind of looks familiar to me. This doesn't look too alien. You know, we have our quantized parameters and our transpose functions. So that's good. This is where we have our channel strip settings. That looks okay. EQ, yep, that looks the same. They have moved the software instrument up here, and there's 3 areas which we can touch upon. There's on off, where we used to have to hit Alt and click, and that would grade it out. We now have an on off switch. These are the parameters settings. Click on that. There's the drummer. Let's change kit. I've only at the moment 2 kits downloaded. Oh, we can change, and we can tune it, dampen it, tune it down. Yeah, kind of interesting. Was it going to be relevant to me? Probably not. And there's our drop down menu to get all our soft synths. A couple of new soft synths which we will be going through in a later video. So let's continue on. The drawer. This is obviously where we can select, you know, Steinway grands. It's sort of more of a graphical representation. Synthesizer. What have we got? It's all very, you know, orchestra, guitar, drum kit, bass. It's very much band orientated at the moment. I'm not sure I will be using this drawer function much, but we'll see. We'll see. Let's. Yeah, these are just redesigned sort of tone wheel organs. Then we have, these are our functions. So we have auto zoom. I use that quite a bit. Split at playhead. So if I have the playhead there, bar 4, click on that. Sorry, highlight, split it there. It cuts, and if we have several regions in here, it would have split them all. Join is, I think, just like glue. Yep, it is. Bounce regions. So that's bounce in place, which used to be over this area. Move to playhead, so that'll, if we want to move that drum part, click. There we go. Now, repeat section. That's kind of good. So if we have a verse and we need to repeat it, we just, I presume we can just highlight this and repeat section. So it's, let me see. Okay, so it's only repeating what's in the cycle. So let's cycle it all. Yeah. So that's kind of good. That'll save us copying and pasting. Cut section, insert silence. So that was copy, snip, insert, which we used to use. I used to use for arranging. So switch that back off. This is a quick help. Kind of taking its cues from Ableton. You know, output slot, pan, balance knob, volume fader. So hover over a section that'll tell you what the function is. So add a new track button. Smart controls. So smart controls is a new feature. We have a vintage organ in here, and you will use certain functions of that. If we had, say, an ES2, we would probably have cutoff resonance, some other very usable functions in there. So instead of having to open up several windows, we have this smart function, and it has assigned vibrato. Things like click. So let's get a more familiar synth, ES2. And let's let's reset the channel. Synth pads. So there you go, there's smart functions, cut off. We don't need to open up the ES2 anymore. Here we have some phaser. So it's taken some of the plugins that are in some functions of the EST, some functions of the phaser and tremolo and EQ, and sort of compacted them into really useful knobs. Output mix. So an attack and decay. So yeah, that I can see that's being a very useful feature. Mixer. Let's have a look at the mixer. This looks pretty familiar. Again, I hate all these little 3D drones. They just bug me. And again, that's just cluttering up the screen. But yeah, they've just moved the slot. So sends. Let's go to send 1, bus 1, and send it over. So reverb, halls. Let's pick a better sound. So we can see gain reduction here. Is that to do with the comp? Let's switch that off. Yeah. So we can get a quick look at what the compressor is doing without having to actually open up the compressor. And then there's the second bus is in this little, so you just keep adding buses here. Output, stereo out, and then we can group. Automation is our read, touch, latch, and write. So this all is familiar. Pan. So that's our peak level, and that's where our fader's at. So if I, yeah. So mixer's pretty much the same. And now we go to editors. And It's still seeing these as drummers, so let's remove that. So it must be saying this is a drummer track. Yeah, there must be a software instrument, create software instrument. Let's delete that. Yeah, so this is our editors now. Piano roll, score, and step. Step is hyper editor, I think. No, it looks kind of familiar. Pan, modulation, pitch bend, yeah. So if we have something with a lot of MIDI information going on, like the tech tip I did, I think last week or the week before, you can see now quickly, you know, all the MIDI information in a couple of lanes here. So again, we don't use it, but it's great for programming drums and stuff. Piano roll looks pretty much similar, except for this section now. There are quantize, which used to be along the top here, is now down the side. We have scale quantize, so we can keep things to a scale. Join notes, split notes of playhead, trim. So there's a few more MIDI options here. Transpose, adjust tempo, functions. So we can transform all our MIDI regions as we normally do. MIDI draw, that's our volume, or pan, or balance. And that would be our hyperset, or sorry, our auto-defined MIDI controller data, like velocities, I presume, switched on and off there. So let's actually record something in so we can check that. So let's badly played. Let's Apple A it all, quantize. So there, we can quantize the scale, E sharp, natural minor, and it will now push everything into those scales. Kind of handy feature. I kind of like that. And let's see if we have, yeah, these are velocities. So again, we can turn everything up or down using this velocity. Hold, probably control. And it pushes everything up even further. So nothing too major there. And here's our automation. Switched on and off. We can have bass boost. Yeah, and a transport, although it's not called transport anymore, I can't remember. Apple have decided to rename it. Cycle. One thing I do hope that they have changed is the cycle algorithm, because it was always rubbish from even 4. There was always a little movement at the end. That's auto punch, solo, count in, metronome. This is our event list. So it's our list editors. These are in the same area. Why they didn't put the Apple loops or this other area over here, this drawer over this side, I don't know. Notes. So project notes, that'll be familiar to most people. Apple loops. I switched this on earlier and it crashed it, and it has done again. So not unless it's because it's downloading additional context. Yeah, it's indexing the loop, so that's probably what's going on with it. Guys, we'll leave this first video here. In the next one, I want to take a look more in depth at the function I'm most excited about, and that's the arpeggiator.